It's the After the Show podcast, precious.
We don't care. We're about to swear on the air. It's the After the Show, so tune in if you dare. KVJ, get risque every single day. It's uncensored. We can say what we want to say.
Alrighty, hello and welcome to the KVJ After the Show podcast for Tuesday. Just jumping ahead through the week. Welcome, everybody. Good to see y'all. No, Jaybird, you got to be pumped because earlier you thought it was Monday, but you're another day in.
Dog, I'm so pumped.
I mean, you're closer to Wednesday now.
You're right.
That's true. Getting there. Heading to that weekend.
You're right. This is towards the end of our day, sort of, but we never, not really.
We're past Do It Bitch, which is the marker of my week. You're the reigning Do It Bitch champions. I mean, things are going fucking great.
I think that's your Jägermeister talking. Things are going fine. Fucking great. Way big of an overshoot.
I actually think things are going fucking great.
Good.
It's a good week.
How many Jaeger shots did you both throw down the regular show?
I only had 3.
Only
had 3?
I only had 1.
Or not only. I had 3, Kevin.
Okay.
I think Denny's had 2. I had 1. Jaybird had 3.
Okay.
And we're all just like warm.
I'm Ubering home. Don't worry. Leaving my Jeep in the parking lot for the 6th day in a row.
Just leave it here, huh? Who needs it?
My Panda's going to help me out. He actually came to work and took my car to Greenway Kia.
Okay.
Because when I was driving to work this morning, it said one of my tires was at 0 tire pressure. I'm like, ooh, that's not good.
That's someone sending you a message.
No, it's just the electronics on the car. They reset it, and it's fine.
Well, whether I'm having Jaeger in my system or not, I shouldn't be driving regardless, just because
Your wing.
the wing and the thing. No, not my dick.
Okay.
My leg and my arm is just it's tough to turn in. So,
But that dick, though.
that the dick's fine.
Is that the only thing on you that's working?
The only thing that's wrong with my dick is that it's just thin and small.
Okay.
But it's the meanest pencil out there.
But I'll tell you what, though, it's got the biggest fucking heart on the planet.
It's got some character to it.
Funny face is smiling.
That thing's got grit.
It's just what we're looking for in a dick. Gritty.
Well, if you had to have one thing working, that's good news. Well, we got some emails here to follow up on some of the conversations that we had on today's regular show. I was letting you know that those enhanced numbers that are out there about South Florida schools doing so well in the latest grading period, might be fudged a bit in a sense.
People were like just grading them on improvement.
Yeah, they used to grade them just on the performance, but if you're, trending up, you're an A school, baby. And I got an anonymous email here from somebody who doesn't want their name, but they say, I work at a local high school with 100% graduation. Ha ha. The grading scale is not accurate and totally manipulated all over the board. They actually transfer students out of the school to alternate high schools if they are not going to graduate, so it does not impact the graduation rate or the grade. If they are borderline and can be saved, those students are treated better than the rest of the students, as they'll have, quote, credit recovery class during the entire day, where they feed them Dunkin' Donuts for breakfast, snacks, including bags of chips, candy bars, cookies, etc. throughout the entire day. They'll get pizza delivered, not school pizza. That's lunch. And it's all trying to help these kids stay focused to try to bring their grades up so it helps the entire school. Meanwhile, every other student has nothing even close to this. And I could go on and on. It is very sad to see that our education system is failing. These kids are not prepared. And it was just kind of stunning, some of the factoids that I had in there about being an A grade level school, even though kids are not even performing to the grade level that they're in. So they're basically graded on the curve and the numbers are fudged. So when you said, oh my gosh, we've really turned around education in Florida. No, we haven't. We've just said, you know what? We're not going to be able to turn around education here and make kids smarter, but we can change the system and make it look better. And they did that.
Wow.
Yep. So there you go.
Did they think that no one would notice?
I don't know. That's a good question. I think that there are some smoke and mirrors and a lot of little manipulation things that they have done because, look, I will admit I'm guilty of this. When it came to finding a school for my son, you know, where I am, our school is a routine D to F school. And my daughter was in, the town she was in. And we're able to have my son go and stay with her and go to school. And that was a grade A school. And it was simply with a quick glance to be like, that's an A school, that's a D school. From where I'm from, A's are a lot better than D's. So if you want your kid to have a good education, you would rather send him to the A school than the D school. Now, I should look and see what the grade is currently on the high school that we're actually zoned for, because it may all of a sudden miraculously be an A.
I have a weird question. You guys probably may not know the answer, but for example, when I went to Lake Park Elementary, they had a menu there. On the menu at the cafeteria, it would be turkey tetrazzini, super sliced pizza, Mexican pizza. Was that just the school writing out the menu, or did they have to follow a public school guideline across the board in that education area?
Oh, you mean do all the schools have the same menu?
Yeah, because I just Googled and looked up supersized pizza in public schools, and it goes, no one's serving supersized pizza now, but I remember that was a big deal at my school. But was that just the school writing out that menu, or did they have to follow a protocol where they go, every school has to have supersized pizza, turkey tetrazzini with a fresh hot bun?
I don't know. That's a great question.
Is it a great question?
Do they all subscribe to the same menu?
Yeah.
Or does every individual school get to dictate their own menu for lunch?
Even if it's a public school, because I remember going from public to private, and I only went to private school for 3 months because we couldn't afford it. What a difference in food and options. We never had a fucking meatball grinder.
Remember when they invited us to go over to Oxbridge?
Insane.
The high school, and see their cafeteria, and we got to eat with those kids at lunchtime, and we were like, holy shit.
They legit they had chefs there.
It was nicer than like some food courts I've been in at the mall.
Yeah, your private school lunches, if you're going to an Oxbridge or a Pinecrest or one of those schools here in South Florida, it's going to be a lot different than your public school lunches. Somebody had said, yeah, the areas basically they all have the same stuff. They got to follow a protocol set by the district.
Yeah. I mean, that was one of the main reasons why I ended up going to a private school, because my buddy JR, that you know, would always brag about their meatball grinders. And I said, Mom, Dad, please, I got to try.
It's not about the education.
Right.
Mom, Dad, meatballs.
It really was.
And your mom was probably like, yeah, we're Italian. I get it.
He's got a point.
He needs meatballs.
We were out of that school in 3 months. They thought one of my family members was possessed with the devil.
Aww.
And it was expensive. A lot of money.
Does it cost extra if one of your kids is possessed by the devil to go to a religious school?
There is a Lucifer tax.
Got to pay for the kid and you got to pay for the devil to go too.
Those are jokes.
And got an email here from Jesus to help Jaybird out with his garbage issue. You said that the garbage men are not picking up your trash. Can't figure out why. You had a bunch of bags out there, a lot of them from the KVJ horror movie that you're making. And Jesus says, yes, the garbage men will not pick up trash that's not in the provided can, and they can't because the back isn't open to throw trash in. They won't pick up stuff that is leaning on the trash can either. They need 3 feet of space to pick up the can with the hooks.
And I do appreciate that answer, but the reason why that's confusing is because that's inconsistent. I've had times where I've had things in my trash can And then I've had like 3 or 4 bags, and they take it no problem. It's been of recent days that this has been going on. And I'm not.
Do you happen to have those bags leaning up against the can that is provided by the city that they pick up with the hooks?
I have them separate by the can.
He's saying you need 3 feet of space.
Did you measure it?
I mean, what the fuck, guys? Are you shitting me? No, I didn't. I did everything that I normally do, and they just have stopped taking it.
You're the problem.
No, I get that, and I'm not at all. I really am not trying to talk shit about the trash community here. I'm not. I'm saying that's a great point. I think I have to buy another trash bin, but I've been told you have to have a city trash bin. If not, they won't take that either. So
So how do you get another city trash bin?
I think I just have to maybe not have so much trash. Mm-hmm. But is that living?
Well, I think there are days, as people are saying, that there's a bulk pickup date. And so that's when you can maybe put some things out if you know the proper date on that.
I know the proper date on the bulk. That's why this has been frustrating, is because I do know the system of I know I'm a fuck up and I make a lot of mistakes, but I do know the system of my trash area. And there's been a change in the way it's been being done. And maybe I just don't have, maybe don't put out that much trash bags. I don't know. I'm fucking sick of talking about trash.
You think they would like you from when you threw out all your clothes and they got a whole new wardrobe out of you?
Yeah, but did they even know they were clothes?
Maybe not. Maybe they just threw them away. Mm-hmm. But they took all those.
But no, everyone's giving me good suggestions. I'm going to make some adjustments, and we'll see how it goes.
Okay. All right. And Doug, talking about parking for events, as you were discussing the kid that got hit with the $1,100 parking fee for being on Miami Beach for spring break.
We couldn't believe it.
He said it kind of reminded me of the situation at the old Orange Bowl where one had to park in the yards of the people that were living around the stadium. This is like the 60s and 70s. Actually, it was later than that, too, because I did that probably early 2000s. I remember I went down there, and there was a guy. It was one of your former connections. His name was Berto. And I remember we had to bring him because he was Cuban and he spoke Spanish. And everybody around, we had to have somebody that spoke Spanish to be able to talk our way in there. And I remember we parked and then we got buried in a whole sea of cars. And we just had to sleep in the car until people came out. And we were still blocked in for a while. It was kind of a mess.
I remember Berto. He was fun.
Yep.
He was a sweet pea.
So he said, they would charge $20 to $40 for a game. They'd pack in as many cars as they could. Usually there was only inches between cars. There could be 4 or 5 deep. And if you got out early and your car was in the front, you had to wait until people in the front came so that you could leave. Yeah, it was a nightmare.
Didn't we park like that going to the Marlins Stadium too?
You still can.
I thought I parked in somebody's yard one time going to Marlins Stadium.
You could, but they got a couple parking garages, and they don't bring in enough fans to fill up the parking garages. So, I mean, if you're still parking in one of those, it's rare. I think I've been to one Marlins game where we still had to try to find a street parking. I'm not sure if it's because of the garages were actually full or just because we wanted the convenience of zipping out quick.
Gotcha.
I think I had to do that, too, one time. For the Marlins game.
It's been a while,
It was a long time ago, but I felt like we were parking in a yard.
Yeah,
that's how it was.
We may have been together. Mm-hmm. I don't remember. I drink a lot.
Yeah, when they had the Orange Bowl, I don't think they had any parking garages, so you had to make good with doing the yard parking.
That's crazy. Can you imagine building a stadium and no parking lot?
Yeah, it really was weird. I guess when you look at what that neighborhood looked like when they built the Orange Bowl, though, it wasn't nearly that. I mean, honestly, Miami took a massive turn in the 80s. You look at the downtown from the 60s and 70s, and, it looked maybe like West Palm does now.
Cocaine works.
As they say, cocaine's a hell of a drug.
Yeah.
For prosperity in the city.
Yeah, it's changed radically. Let me see. Got an email here from Tony. She said, I was listening to the Mexican Queen on Friday talking about how she got sucked into the god-awful reels on Facebook. I too have gotten sucked into those. Please tell Kim to stop paying for the rest of the shorts. Download the Daily Motion app. Most of the movies are there in their entirety. Also, I suggest Kidnapped by the Mafia. It sounds like her kind of thing.
Ooh.
Is that real story stuff?
Don't know anything about it. I have no idea. So, but suggestion for her.
Some of those stories where someone gets kidnapped and they escape the murderer or the mafia or what, and they get to live and tell about the details. It's always so fascinating to see how it all starts. Like, for example, there's been like the woman that escaped from Ted Bundy. She tells you exactly what he did, how he did it, his MO, and I think that's kind of interesting to get that perspective of.
Because most of the people can't tell you how it went down.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Another thing.
Sorry, it turned to murder again.
Yeah, he can't help himself.
Yeah, go figure, huh?
He's got a murder hard on.
Mm-hmm.
That dick is strong.
All right.
Well, you probably like this unfun fact here from Joshua. Talking about the serial killer, Ed, how'd you say his name?
Ed Gein or Gain. It's Gein or Gain.
Okay.
I don't know, people get on me. Tomato. I'll go fuck myself.
Did you know he had a box with multiple people's skinned anuses?
Yeah, he was a guy that is based on Leatherface, really. And
He kept the bungholes?
Guess so. Quite a collection, huh?
oh, if you only knew some of the things these serial killers did, like Ted Bundy would go back out 4 or 5 days after he would murder somebody out in the woods and do things to them.
Like what?
Bad things. Terrible. He would
Romantic?
necrophilia, yeah. Damn. Jeffrey Dahmer brought a severed head to the chocolate company he worked at in a bag. It's fucking horrifying.
Damn.
Go figure, huh? These guys are weird.
You ever look around work and go, I wonder if we got one of those guys here?
Every single day. I always think about, did I just walk by a murderer? But not just at work. If I'm at Walmart or if I'm at Publix.
The numbers go up at Walmart.
I go, how many times have I really walked by, not even a serial killer, but somebody who's gotten away with murder and they're just living their life? Of course you've walked by someone like that.
Of course.
There have been people that you've worked with or you knew in life that had a weird energy about them, and you just always wondered. Yeah, like if I would have found out that some people I've known were serial killers, I'd be like, not shocked.
Not shocked.
In your opinion, out of the 3 stations we've worked at together as a crew, do you think there's one person that we worked with that's gotten away with murder, living a lie, and going, I'm wondering when I'm going to get caught?
Yeah, probably.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, we've worked with a lot of weirdos.
That's crazy.
We're in the communications business, but there's some weird people that are not good at social interactions in radio.
So if you had a bet,
and they act like they are up to something squirrely.
What's that one? Is it the when you spin it, either get is the roulette, either A or B? A or B, murderer. You get the money if you're right. What do you pick?
I don't know. I guess I have to pick, murderer, because think about all the people that came through our career. And we were in Miami. There was a lot of employees there. One of them surely is killed.
Isn't that crazy? You really could be working with someone that's murdered and you would have no idea.
Well, and it's not necessarily premeditated, too. There's a lot of those manslaughter-ish type things where you're kind of messing around and something happens or gets away from you, or you get angry in a moment, you hit somebody and they fall and hit their head.
And then you bounce out and you never get caught.
Yeah, and that's a different mindset to me, where just being a fool and doing something dumb, someone dies.
Yes.
And in a sense, technically, you are a murderer. It's not that you have murder in your heart or you set out to make a plan and just to go out and
kill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some people are like, today I'm going to go and murder someone. Where somebody else, it's like, well, we messed around. Somebody wound up dead.
And to expand that field, that's why I go, just not that type of person, but that somebody they did murder, they got away with it, and they're living just in this world of is that the cops? Is there DNA? Was there hair?
Well, if you are a murderer and you've not yet been caught, I want to ease your mind here. Based on actual FBI stats, nearly half of all murder cases in the U.S. go unsolved. They call it the national clearance rate, which in the U.S. is 58% as of 2023.
Wow.
That's a lot.
That is a fuck ton. Are you shitting me?
Whereas countries like Australia, Britain, and Germany, they have clearance rates ranging from 70 to 90%. So we're at 58.
So wait, 70 to 90%?
We're solving 58% of the murders.
Okay, and they're solving 90.
Up to 90 in some of those countries.
Wow.
Like, we're not going
So
hard enough.
if you want to murder, do it in the U.S. because there's almost, it's not quite there, but there is a 42% chance that you will not be arrested for murder in the U.S.
And
That's what the FBI is telling you.
And I do wonder, too, how many of those facts they're throwing in from the 50s, 60s, 70s cold case files compared to now. Because I do think it is more difficult to get away with murder these days because of technology. Now, I still think you can do it.
There's so many cameras, though, and so many cameras that you don't even know are out there watching.
But think about the 70s or the 60s.
There was no cameras.
If someone taking someone out in the woods and fucking killing them and driving away and no one's around, good luck with that shit.
Mm-hmm. Well, just watching the Dexter Resurrection that's on, there's somebody else in there that excels in murder. And they had a device where they would go into a room and they would just scan and it would say 0 cameras detected. Now, I don't know if because it's a TV show, if this is a real device.
Oh, it's a real device. Rocco has it.
Okay.
But you have to get a little closer. Like, you can't just stand right here and do the whole room. Like, you have to actually, go around the whole room and physically be close enough to the device for it to pick up the frequency.
Okay.
But this is a real thing. Rocco owns it.
And the other thing that they have to combat it, and I don't think this is really giving away too much because it's only 2 episodes in on this, but the one person that they have, because they always have a bad guy that he goes after, Virginia, and they establish who they are pretty quick.
Okay.
It is a guy that is killing people who are rideshare drivers, and he has a hood that has some kind of light that you can't see, but cameras can. So it makes his whole face white. So when you look at a camera of this individual, all you see is a white blob. And so I don't know if that's legit or not, but it scrambles, it messes with cameras. So maybe if that is a true technical thing. Again, it's a TV show, so I don't know. You could ask Rocco, but that's how he evades all the cameras. By when he puts his hood up, he becomes invisible to cameras.
And maybe it has some kind of illumination trick. Like, kind of like they put on my
explained it, but I missed it. It's an infrared type of light that cameras can't detect, so it... Have you ever seen that where sometimes for some reason cameras act weird?
Yes. Yeah.
I think
so that's what it does. It jacks with the camera.
I like that. That's a good storyline.
Yeah, I thought
think that's cool.
That's why I said when you get past the terrible writing that got you into the new season of Dexter and you can somehow in your mind erase how they bungled that up, then the show itself is solid because it is fascinating. All those kind of like little things are very interesting and intriguing.
I just wish I really knew the honest answer of when the police working on cold case files. There's 3 cold case files that we have here in South Florida that I've been obsessed with since I was a child. And I wonder, does it get to a point where do they not look at them ever? Do they look at them once a year? Twice a year? Is it something they do every single day? Like we do a prep? Or is it something they don't do at all?
Great question.
I mean, is there a point where you go, all right, that was the 70s, 80s, and 90s, and we could probably solve cases that were, from the 2000s because of technology, and do they let those cold cases go back in the day?
They're getting better, and really what you need to know is if you plan on having a career in murder like these guys, you need to understand forensics and tech. And if you understand forensics and tech, as you're seeing watching these murder specials, those are the 2 things that really get the cops. And the other thing about it too is do it in a already high crime area. if you go to the south side of Chicago and you kill somebody, that's a great place to do it because they have a prevalence of murder and gang-related crimes that they're having a hard time getting through. And the police department in those areas in South Chicago, they can't keep up with it.
They're overwhelmed.
They're just getting calls right and left about dead bodies. And they're like, okay, by the time you get into each of these, and a lot of times too, I got to tell you, I think they realize it's a gang murder and they're like, okay, no one in the community is going to talk to us. It's going to go absolutely nowhere. And if you had honest cops from the South Side, they would probably say, yeah, there's nothing we can do with that. You know what? And so we won't put a lot of effort into that murder case because we realize it's a dead end and we're going to waste a lot of time and spin our wheels.
And the toughest kind of murder to catch is somebody that is a traveler.
Random.
They change their MO, and that, in a sense, is their MO in a weird way. They know that they can't always, unless they're like the BTK, who had a way of, he just could not stop the way he did his murder. But there are people that they were really hard to catch because they'd go across the country and it'd be random people, different techniques, different times, and they were a ghost. You couldn't catch them.
Dang.
Mm-hmm.
Murder podcast.
He's got a murder boner.
No, stop saying murder boner. I'm starting to feel weird when you say that.
You know, you do the murder boner. Necrophilia.
Oh.
Just saying.
Holy shit.
Am I wrong?
Oh my God.
Damn.
So
You sick bitch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
fuck.
Mm-hmm. Just saying. Well, let's make a nice transition here and talk about cookies.
Short cookies.
Could be.
Sometimes I do feel bad for Kevin because he's got to make some
You just have to
real...
recognize that there's no good segue from the rest of the stuff I have to talk about today.
My man's got to make some fucked up transitions.
Yeah. We just have to recognize that there is no smooth way to get from murder to cookies. Sean sent an email and said, we've been having this debate at my job. Is a cookie primarily a dessert or a snack? And he said the key word is primarily. Now, it could be, but more cases than not. A cookie's a snack, right?
Cookie's a snack. Cake is dessert.
See, I think a cookie's a dessert.
Why?
A snack is like chips. A cookie is a dessert.
Why is snacks just involved with salty, delicious treats?
I just don't do, I guess, as many sweets as snacks. For me, they're different. Sweets are for the end of a meal. Snacks are any time of day.
If Fat Kevin had an oatmeal cream pie after school, is that dessert or is that a snack?
The sex move.
Well, for me, and the way I would tell my mom, yeah.
Terrible. Yeah, but the cream pie. Or the oatmeal cream pie.
The Little Debbie.
Stop making this sick. Snack or dessert?
To me, I would say it's a snack because when my mom would give me my meal, I would still want dessert.
Exactly.
But I was a little fat ass. So, yeah, if you're trying to justify, fat kids are always going to say a cookie is a snack because then you double dip and you do dessert as well.
Yeah, a cookie is a snack, girl. I'm sorry. It's not your kind of bougie snack, but yeah, you're fucking wrong.
All right, murder bone.
Now, again, the word is primarily. So it can work as a dessert, no doubt about it. And to me, if it's going to be a dessert, you need to have multiple cookies. It's not a cookie.
With ice cream in the middle and some drizzle.
Yeah. Right. That's definitely, now you're getting into dessert territory. But I asked KVJ TV, a cookie is... 71% said snack.
Yes, they got it right. Virginia's wrong. I love it.
Okay. There you go.
Is it still a snack, though, when you put all that ice cream and shit on it?
I think at that point it becomes a dessert.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yes. You've transformed it then. You've elevated it. Taken it to a whole new level.
Well, when people say kale is good, and then they go, when you put salt and then fry it and do that. Well, then no. Kale is good when you add on your all-star team.
Kale by itself isn't great. You're not eating it because you're like, oh my gosh, this is just such a delicious choice.
Believe me, Kevin will get an email from Kale Kelly, who will defend it. Oh, kale's fucking great, bro. What are you talking about? And then she'll go into, when you put butter and garlic on it. Well, this butter and garlic is what's the star.
Needs some help.
It does.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, there's foods like that. They need some help.
Are you still a kale guy?
I mean, yeah, I'll eat it. I don't know the last time I did eat it. But yeah, if you do a good kale salad, I'll enjoy that. But it takes a lot of things in it. If you just gave me a bowl of kale, I'd be like, nah. But yeah, if you put the right dressing in there and you have, what is it, like cranberries and sometimes things like that they put in there, maybe walnuts and all those kind of things, I'd be like, all right, if you jazz it up right, maybe add some little, what are the little, is it the blue cheese crumbles they might put in that, Virginia, possibly?
Or gorgonzola.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so good.
You start doing all that, but to Bird's point, yeah, you got to jazz it up. I'm not going to eat it raw.
Underrated, kind of a mixture of a sauce, because you don't see too many people do it. And I should say dressing. Take barbecue sauce and mix it with ranch, and you now have a Southwestern type. Throw some black bean in there, throw some corn, throw them little corn chips, you know, talking about the Freddy Krueger fingers.
I've met a corn chip.
Yeah. I'm telling you what. Some sliced tomatoes. You want me to make you that shit?
It sounds lovely, but a lot of that stuff I'm now allergic to.
I'll go fuck myself.
And me and Denny's were talking about this. I think I'm allergic to all the stuff put into wheat and corn at the farming level.
Yeah.
And now I'm sensitive to it because of all the chemicals we allow in this country. But yeah, all my food sensitivity tests came back hot.
Would you consider this when you go to Italy, ignoring your list of food sensitivities and letting it rip to see just what happens to you?
Yes, absolutely. In fact, that is a test I am going to do.
Good.
Because I want to see so many of Magnolia's friends that just did the study abroad thing. These girls went over there. They had pasta and pizza every day, and they said they lost weight.
Yep. So my daughter had said too, 5 pounds she lost going over there, and she said every meal was pasta or pizza. This
country is fucked in what our food supply is poisoning us with.
I'll say the Pasta Tuesday sounds awesome.
Go with your Jaeger.
Pasta Tuesday and Jägermeister.
It's quite a combo.
All drunk, sucking down pasta.
And Mary sent an email. She said, I wanted to let the KVJ show know that Happy Gilmore 2 is dedicated to Dan Baker. He was a Palm Beach Gardens resident, and he was the golf expert for the movie. Sadly passed in an accident on Alligator Alley on December 13th of 2024. Aww. So I hate to hear that, but hopefully they'll have something on the movie about him as a tribute, and hopefully the movie does great. Because could you imagine if you had to go, at least being recognized in a classic movie at the end where in the credits it was always, or right when they go to the dark screen, your name pops up, dedicated to, which they typically do.
That's beautiful.
That would, I mean, it'd be kind of cool. If I had to go, I'd be like, all right, at least I went on a classic movie, and every time it rolls to credits, you're going to see my name in tribute.
I'm so excited for this movie, but nervous. I love Happy Gilmore at a next level. I saw it 5 times in the theater, a couple times with my dad.
Yeah.
It's really just a goofy, fun movie, and I just hope it is good. I'm scared.
Tough. It's tough to do comedy sequels. Caddyshack to Caddyshack 2.
Oh.
Dumb and Dumber to Dumb and Dumberer. There are so many examples of terrible comedy sequels, and I don't know why it is so hard to, and that's why a lot of times, Will Ferrell said, yeah, I'm not going to be doing any more. Some of his movies, he said, yeah, you're taking such a chance that, if we did a Wedding Crashers 2 or some of those movies, are you going to hit it again?
And a lot of times, too, the writers that made the first movie and the actors involved, a lot of times they really do not want to do a sequel because they're going, hey, it was a one-off. It was great. Let's move along and do something different. But money talks and the studio heads get involved. And sometimes the studio heads will be dicks and go, well, you can't do this other project you want to do unless you do Happy Gilmore 2 or Jaws 5 or they'll hold it over your head.
And I think a lot of times when you're making the original, there's a looseness that happens. There's no expectations, and you don't have people breathing down your neck as much about making it. When you do the sequel, I think things get more tight. And look, comedy, I think that's why comedies suffer more. Comedy has to be loose and free. It has to be organic. That's why a lot of times you see some of the best moments from comedies were just the outtakes or them riffing or ad-libbing. Right, they're just being naturally loose and funny like those people are.
It wasn't even in the script.
Yep. And then a lot of times when you get to the sequel, be like, no, we can't take any chances, man. This has to be funny. And we wrote it this way to be funny. And it's like, well, no, you got to take some chances. But at that point, they've invested so much money. Typically, the stars cost more to bring in, and they've got a higher threshold that they have to achieve. And so everyone gets all tense and tight, and it makes the movie suffer.
You know this, Cheeseburg. You've yet to do a sequel, right? Have you done any sequels?
No sequels, no.
Horror's easier than comedy.
No, I would agree with that. And the one story I think that's fascinating was Rocky. They gave him 30 days to make Rocky. He did it in 28. He took a massive, Stallone took a massive pay cut. Nobody believed in this movie. So it was almost kind of like not a lot of pressure on him and the crew, although there was pressure because he wanted to prove them wrong, but they weren't up his ass. They didn't think Rocky had a shot of really being a big time movie. So they kind of left him alone to their own devices. And I think because they didn't have that pressure of people down their throats, they came up with something really amazing.
Yeah. It was. My father-in-law was talking to me about that movie, and Sylvester Stallone was nominated for an Academy Award because of that. And there was a movie called Network that was out at the time. And I can't remember who the lead actor was, but I do remember his monologue that he did where he's like, we're all going to hell or something like that.
It's considered a classic movie moment.
When I was in film school, we watched it as one of the great monologues. But that guy also died that year. So they felt like he has to get the Oscar. This Sylvester Stallone's a new kid on the block. He'll be back. That's the only time Sly's ever been nominated for an Oscar.
Wow.
But what I love about that was Stallone knew he was fucked and under a time crunch. And he legit kind of parodied the movie of being a Rocky with, he was against the ropes.
Yeah.
They thought that shit was not going to work.
Yep. Somebody brought up the point that some of the animated comedy sequels, and not that they're based to be a comedy, but your Shrek or your Toy Stories are the ones you look at, they're amusing. And that's interesting that some of those do better and they're consistent with the original. And I wonder if it's because you don't have humans that are delivering the comedy. And if doing the sequels in comedy makes the humans tighter or they have more restrictions on them, whereas when you're drawing out a cartoon, you don't have those human factors involved. You don't feel the pressure of being funny.
The actors aren't tweaky.
Yes.
And I know you love Meet the Fockers. I know you love that one. I thought Meet the Parents, the original movie with Stiller and De Niro, I thought that was a really good movie.
Yeah.
I didn't like part 2. I thought it was, I didn't think they needed part 2.
I liked it.
I know. Look, I think I'm in the minority on this. I think a lot of people did, but it didn't hit with me. And I think it is tougher for comedies.
The first one, it hit better because the dynamic was new. And the comedy dynamic is how tight Robert De Niro is versus Greg, his son-in-law. And that was so great in the first one.
It really was.
And that's why
good.
it stood out. After that, you're like, okay, I get it. It's, they're just playing on the same vehicle of that tension between the two of those.
Well, Owen
guys.
Wilson's character was amazing in the first one as the guy that let the girl get away, who's so successful.
Yeah.
And, I mean, there was some really funny
I
shit in
forgot that scene where he had carved out their thing. He's like, because Jesus was a carpenter. And he's telling them, and they're drinking it all in. He's like, oh my gosh.
It's my favorite part part of the movie.
And if I remember, he torches it, right? Something happens and it burns down.
Greg fucks it up.
So, yeah, all that was really good. Okay. All right. Well, thank you for all the emails that you get to us. You can always hit us up. Just go mail at kvjshow.com to give us your feedback. Thanks for being here. Check it out anytime you want or anywhere you want. YouTube, Twitch, we got it. And you can also get it on demand on Spotify or the 97.9 WRMF app. Enjoy your Tuesday. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Goodbye.